the far southeast of Iceland, Jökulsárlón is one of the world's most famous glacier lagoons. Glacier lagoons are water bodies that form as the glaciers retreat and the thick ice masses melt. Although this only started to form in the 1930s, it is now the deepest lake in Iceland and continues to grow bigger and deeper at an alarming rate. While this may be a stunning sight, it is also a stark reminder of the impact that climate change is having on our planet. Such cold waters are not a comfortable place to live. Well, at least some are at home here. This harbour seal has a protective layer of subcutaneous fat called blubber. This enables it, along with many other marine mammals, to tolerate extremely cold water temperatures. But Iceland is not all about ice. The presence of black sand everywhere can mean only one thing: active volcanoes. The smouldering lava may still be extremely hot, but eventually the smoke will settle down, and this will begin to change into some of the newest rocks on Earth. Places like Iceland give us an insight into the way in which life on Earth may have possibly developed. Volcanoes and earthquakes destroy and change the landscape. Over time, rain and snow batter the land. And despite initially looking like the surface of another planet, over millions of years, the first signs of macroscopic life begin to appear. Pioneering simple plants such as mosses and lichens are first to the scene. These paved the way for bigger and more complex plants. Life at its most beautiful. In autumn, rowan trees are laden with bright red berries. The air is filled with the sound of birds that come here in large numbers to take advantage of this rare bounty. For birds, such as this Icelandic redwing, the berries are an irresistible feast. Northern starlings may lack the finesse of the redwings, but their sharp beaks do the job just as well. But forests are rare in Iceland. Stunted trees do grow where they can find some shelter from the unfriendly weather. However, the winds are simply too strong to allow any trees to achieve a maximum height on exposed ground. So strong are the winds that the vapour from this waterfall is almost reaching for the skies. Although the air is often freezing here, steaming hot springs abound in different places across the country. Geothermally heated groundwater slowly bubbles to the surface. The water here is so hot that it can burn human skin, contrasting sharply with the near-freezing temperatures above. Amazingly, these extreme habitats do host microorganisms, such as cyanobacteria, which are often responsible for the strange colours of the ground around these hot springs. At Stockholm, the hot water sprouts to heights of up to 30 metres in the air, entertaining scores of visitors every day. Missed it the first time? You can have another go, as Stockholm does erupt at regular intervals. But decide your position quickly, or you'll miss the show again. Where there is no geothermal activity, the glacial meltwaters transform into streams and rivers rich in life. Life thrives in places where streams and rivers meet to form ponds and lakes. Tufted ducks can often be spotted easily on such bodies of water. They are joined by a pair of red-breasted mergansers, and also a couple of Slavonian grebes. Along with this seemingly lost juvenile guillemot. Eventually, these rich waters reach the coast and find their way into the sea. Skalfandi Bay is one of them. Skalfandi means shaky bay, and that is because there are regular undersea earthquakes here. These forces, combined with the harsh weather, result in huge swells that rise to the surface. But these rich waters are home to some sought-after giants of the deep. A water sprout gives us the first glimpse at what this giant is. A humpbacked whale. They are usually solitary animals, so to see one humpback is a treat. To see two swimming side by side is simply magnificent. As they dive back, they leave a large portion of flat water. This is known as their footprint, a sign that a giant was here just moments ago. Eider ducks share this space with the whales. These are tough and hardy birds, well adapted to living in cold and difficult conditions. Brightly coloured males join the female and juvenile groups, and they can often be seen effortlessly riding the crushing waves. A break from the bad weather allows eider ducks to dive deep in the almost clear blue sea. A juvenile Iceland gull hits upon a lucky find, a whale carcass that could provide much needed food before winter settles in. A Greenland wheat ear builds up on insects on the shore before embarking on its journey down south. The thrashing waves and the continuously changing landscape throw up a mixture of geological patterns, like these wave-pattern rocks at Snæfellsnes National Park. These geometrical columns were formed when flowing lava quickly cooled upon contact with cold sea water. These causeways have become an inspiration for modern architects. This opera house in Reykjavik, for example, reflects these natural formations. Reykjavik City is the world's northernmost capital city. The capital of Iceland is home to about 60% of the country's population and is a hub of tourist activity, so it may seem like a busy place. But nature is never far away. At Tjornin Lake, which is in the city, more than 50 bird species have been recorded. The heat generated by the activity in the capital is a welcome respite for some tired wings, such as these whooper swans who delight visitors with their trumpeting calls. This pair is still protective of its 4 nearly fully grown cygnets. But the real home of these swans is on the rural farms and grasslands adjacent to healthy lakes. A large number of these swans will migrate to Britain and Ireland for the winter. As they reach the clouds and leave the safety of land, they'll be undertaking the longest sea crossing of any swan species. These swans will travel up to 1,400 kilometers, which is a significant undertaking for such large birds. But the land they leave behind continues to hold strange geological treasures. This includes these pseudocraters, which are unique and found in very few places on Earth. They are formed when molten lava flows over a wetland and the resulting steam creates explosions. Interestingly, the other place where pseudocraters can be found is Mars. The first group of settlers brought several animals with them, such as these Icelandic sheep. But they also brought with them another animal that is now an iconic symbol in the country: Icelandic horses. With eyes as black as night, each one of them are so perfect, as if they were handcrafted by the Norse gods themselves. Their thick hair protects them from the rain and the cold, and their hardiness makes them a popular breed abroad. But if an Icelandic horse leaves the country, it can never return. But don't let their beauty fool you, because when they get going, they can go fast, across farms, grasslands, rivers, and streams. As the day draws to a close, a clear night holds promise for a final performance unlike any other. Solar particles get caught in the Earth's atmosphere. The electromagnetic activity is strongest at the poles, and this sets the scene for a magical farewell. Northern lights dancing in the sky over a truly wild place.